last check. Technically speaking, we're still in La Follette. So I know most of you all probably won't pay attention. Nice little villages. As I told you, this is where we're going to be based, and from here we'll get to. So we will go all the way back, as far back as La Follette. So that's the development you all saw.
Looking for bamboo with the 6th Trinidad Sea Scouts. Say hi, guys.
Hi. Hello.
Hey, watch it. Look at the ball.
That's what I like to see, a bit of teamwork.
I hate this girl.
An entire village of happy campers. There's the canteen tent.
Take a little hot thing first, and then you can have as much.
Excuse me. Coffee.
Open. Sorry.
Take the pumpkin.
Do you know what church put pumpkin on the guy's plate, please? Pumpkin is a vegetable. Right, wonderful. Eat your veggies!
I'd like some pumpkin, please, because I don't want to get into trouble with Mr. Buckmeyer.
Stop.
Perfect. Mm.
Just put oil over your tea and put it in the sun.
I want to see the popcorn stunt.
Can you break it?
Lift your corner, Mr. Green Shirt. Yeah. So this is the...
That's more than you can
The cutlass, yeah.
chew down. But it's more energy.
Yeah.
And go all the way up to the top. How are we enjoying the doing? So you're watching? So this is the fish's heart, believe it or not. So that little triangular thing.
That's small.
Damn.
Small. All good eating, you can eat it.
It's basically a perfect triangle.
Yummy.
And this whole sack here, look, if you slide...
Triangular
You
prisms.
watching? With this particular fish, if you slide your hand over under everything, and then get hold of it, you can pull everything out. There's the gills, look. See the gills?
Yummy.
And that's everything there. There's some edible parts in there, but if you were in camp, you don't want to leave food around, do you, to encourage maybe predators to come in or anything like that. So this would go straight on the fire. Here you can see, this is its stomach, look, and you can see what the fish has been eating. You see the little fish heads and things, look. Little pieces of fish, I can tell it's been eating little white bait. See the skin? I can feel the bones in there. Would you like to taste it? No. I'm going to put that straight on the fire. Right.
The fish's gender.
So normally if you had running water here, you'd rinse all this out and things, make it clean. But there it is. So you've got rid of the bit that's going to accelerate it deteriorating. There's a number of different things that you can do now. You could cook it whole over the fire. But the problem with cooking fish is, as soon as they're cooked or a little overcooked, they start falling in the fire, and that makes you really angry because you've just fished for this fish for 3 days and you're really, really hungry. Yeah? So you've got to find a way to do that. These gizmos, where's that gizmo that I showed you?
Gizmo?
Where is it? Where's the fish cooker?
Look at that.
Right. That's one way of doing it. You close it over the fish or close it over a fillet of fish. And
Especially shaped grill.
But if you don't have that, you have to find clever ways of doing things. So you can put it on a rock close to the fire, roast one side, turn it over, and then roast the other. Well, the problem with sticking a stick through it is when you put the stick through it, put it over the fire, as I was saying, when it's done, it drops off the end of the stick. That's okay. As I said, you can roast it whole and just pick it off it and it's all good. But if you've got a sharp knife, what I'm doing is just placing it here beside the spine, look. See if I can do a job of it. And what I'm doing is feeling the bone with the tip of my knife. I can feel, and I'm going to fold it back to you, if I can. This would be essentially what's known as filleting, or a fillet as they say it now. Here look, this is quite bony here, so you don't try and cut in here. You would make a cut round here in the fleshy part, close to the bone as you can, because you want as much meat as you can. Can you see how I've felt these bones? Can you hear them? Hear them? Yeah. So I've felt those as I've come down here to split the fish. And I'm just going to get it to a stage where I can show you something. I want to tell you all about what a kipper is. So, at home, you don't really get them here. At home there's a very important food fish called a herring. You've probably seen them in tins. Yes. And the way they would prepare a herring when it's fresh caught is called a bloater. But once it's prepared and kippered, it becomes a kipper. And what they do is they split it in this fashion, which isn't a traditional way. Well, it's traditional for making kippers. They split it down the back and open it out. This would now be kippered. I would do the other side too. And then they put a peg on the tail here and hang it up in the rafters in a room and build a fire in the room and then smoke them. You see rows and rows of these, all smoked up in the rafters. And after about 3 days, they're smoked, preserved, salted first, and that would be a kipper. So doing this fashion, if you were going to dry it or salt it over the fire, you keep it all whole, keep the bone in and keep the skin on because it keeps it together, it stops it dropping off. You could salt it and hang it, and that exposes the most of it to the sun or to the fire when you're doing it. So what I'm going to do is just continue the process here rather than stop at kippering. Obviously I'm not an expert kipper guy, but the experts can get a really nice fillet. You can eat every part of the fish, except for the, don't go eating the guts because there's... So that would be, look, a fillet, wouldn't it? A bit like you buy in a restaurant. There might be an odd bone in there, you have to feel through with your hands and just pick them out, or you can pick them out when you eat them. There's a way of taking the skin off, but in order to preserve it, you need to salt it and dry it or smoke it, which is what we're going to do here. It's better to leave the skin on for the same thing, because you don't want it falling apart, it falls apart easily. But I'm going to leave this one in one piece like this, so that you guys can roast it in one of these. Another way of cooking is inside a piece of bamboo, isn't it? Have you ever seen that done? And we're going to do that too. Now, that doesn't work. I've got to be careful how I move because of this Jack Spaniel. He's going to have me, isn't he? The other side is the same thing. Pass the tip of a sharp knife down. Oh, we'll slip through. This side. Feeling the bone. There. And if the better you get at it, the less meat there is left when you finish. And of course, the only way to get better at it is to do it more and more. And also with different types of fish it's different. But this is a basic technique that I'm showing on this particular fish that is good for all fish, really. And obviously, if you're surviving, you're going to eat everything, aren't you? You wouldn't let anything waste. But I know tomorrow I want to go and see if there's any chance of rescue on the other side of the island, and that could be maybe a 2-day hike. And I don't know if there's any food there either. So what I'm going to do is prepare something so that I can carry it with me and eat it, and get it to sustain me on the way here. So I'm scoring this, look, right through to the skin on the other side. You can see it's about an inch strip. Same on this one here. I'm going to get about 3 of these. I haven't cut right to the end. Like that. See that? So that's done. Kind of a fleur-de-lis, isn't it? Who's my salt man? Where's the salt? Take a handful of salt and just salt it. Try not to upset Mr. Jack Spaniel. It's going to upset him, he won't like that. He's coming for you. And just make sure that a bit more, you need more salt. I can't quantify how much, but I'll tell you when to stop. Those Jack Spaniels really are carnivorous, aren't they? There's another one. A bit more. Now of course, you might not have salt, but chances are if you've caught a sea fish, you're next to the seawater, aren't you? How would you make salt with seawater? Boil it down, render it down, or you could use evaporation, make yourself a little evaporation pool. Right, you see that? So now you know why I've left it together with the skin, because now I'm going to hang it. And I'm going to hang it over the fire to smoke. As it dries out, it'll sort of open out of it. And there it is, and you take probably, it could be a day, 2 days, until it's dry enough to where if you transport it, it won't go bad. As soon as it gets wet, it'll start to decay again, so you have to sort of moisten it to eat it, but provided you keep it dry, it'll be okay. Teach you about cooking on coal and not fire, that's a very important one.
Yes,